Good morning. It is the morning of Monday, July 27th, and I just wrapped up my last weekly reading vlog, so I wanted to kind of just give a quick intro for the next one and kind of talk about my reading plans for the week. I mentioned that I was almost done with Red Shirts by John Scalzi. I'm listening to the audiobook. Really enjoying it, and I'm gonna probably finish it today, so my next check-in clip will probably include me finishing that and my thoughts on that. Other plans for the week, physically, I'm reading The Burning Page by Genevieve Cogman. My physical reading has just been kind of really slow this month. I've just been focusing a lot on audiobooks. It's just kind of what I've been in the mood for, and I kind of got a ton of stuff from the library come available all at once, and so especially for the first 2/3 of the month, I was really just kind of trying to go through all of the books that had come in on the library on Libby. So physical reading has been slow. Hopefully it can pick up this week, but honestly, you know, I'm not going to pressure myself. So this will be my physical read. This is the third book in the Invisible Library series. So that's been fun. For audiobooks, whenever I finish the audiobook of Red Shirts, and again, I'm almost done with it. I think I've got 2 or 3 hours left, and I listen at 1.75 speed. So as soon as I'm done with that, I will get back to the audiobook of Empire of Gold because I'm absolutely loving that. I think the only other thing, at least at this moment, that I'm hoping can happen for this week, I think this week, the 27th to the 2nd of August, is Finish-a-thon, and I know there were a couple of books that I really wanted to finish that I mentioned in my most recent TBR, and that is A Silent Spring by Rachel Carson and Merchants of Doubt by Naomi Oreskes and Eric M. Conway. I really want to finish both of these, but it's 2 non-fictions, and especially because I don't want to be reading too many physical books at one time, so I'm probably going to start those after I finish this, and I have no idea how much time I'm going to have left in the week, or even if I'm going to finish this physically this week. I hope I will, but I don't know how much time I'm going to have after that to read physically, so I'm just going to hope that I can even finish one of these, maybe Silent Spring. I think this one will be a little bit faster to get through, and so maybe I can try to prioritize this one and hopefully finish this for Finish-a-thon, but it'll be really good to get those actually finished and checked off the list. So those are, at least as of the moment, those are the plans, and I will update once I've got some reading to update on. Okay, it's Sunday, so haven't checked in since Monday, but it's fine. So I think I was last saying, as I was talking about what I was planning on reading this week, that I was almost done with Red Shirts by John Scalzi and that I would finish it on Monday or Tuesday. Definitely did, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Not a book to be taken too seriously, I think. I think it was just straight up a spoof of Star Trek. And as a Trekkie, it was just thoroughly enjoyable. So it follows an ensign who joins kind of the flagship, you know, starship for the equivalent of the Federation. And, you know, he gets there and he starts to realize and it's kind of a heavy away mission crew. They do a lot of that work. And he realizes as different groups are going out for a bunch of these away missions that the higher ranking officers almost never die. Even if they get hurt severely, they never die, or almost never die. But the ensigns, or kind of the lower ranked people on those away missions, die a lot. And so he's trying to figure out what's going on. There are just some like weird things about kind of his work, and he's a scientist that just don't make sense, and he's trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and it's just so funny and so silly, and it's just like a perfect, as I said, just perfect spoof of a Star Trek episode. Will Wheaton also narrates the audiobook, which I just, again, find incredible. And he's not only just a great narrator, but I just love that he does books like this that are just fun sci-fi books that frequently reference different nerd culture things, or Star Trek specifically, and it was just a lot of fun. Like, it was just an entertaining, good time. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, would recommend. And then for the rest of the week, I got a little bit more physical reading done in The Burning Page by Genevieve Cogman. It is downstairs, so I'm not going to grab that right now. But I did get a bit farther in that. I think I'm a bit over halfway done at this point. So again, physical reading is still going really slowly, but it's fine. Still enjoying it, actually. Like, this one's been pretty fun. I'm still pretty intrigued about what's going on, and this series has just been a good time. So I'm enjoying that. And then the last thing I just this morning finished, Empire of Gold by S.I. Chakraborty. I'm gonna gush for just a moment because I fucking love this series. I had heard people who had followed the series overall so far were really enjoying the third and final book in the trilogy, and so I was hoping that it would still be kind of up to the level of the first two and that I would enjoy it just as much, and I definitely did. I thought this was a perfect conclusion. Everything, like, I feel like it was a really good balance of the characters, like, what they chose to do still made absolute sense for their characters, and I think the way she had built up the magic system and the way she had built up the relationship between different people, different groups, it's a very heavily political fantasy novel. I think it all just kind of made sense how everything wrapped up and what the characters chose to do. I thoroughly just enjoyable read. Again, I think it was still a great mix of just like getting to continue falling in love with these characters, but also following all of the action in the Civil War that's going on. So if you're not familiar with this series, it starts with City of Brass, and it follows a con artist on the streets of Cairo. It's like 1800s Cairo, named Nari, and she is a healer, also has some skills with language, and she can't quite understand why she can do the things that she can do, but she at one point accidentally summons a warrior gen, as you do, and they end up needing to go back to the City of Brass, Daevabad, and she kind of gets integrated into the absurd just shenanigans that are going on there. There's a bunch of political things going on. There are different groups the tension is starting to get really, really high between different groups, and there are a lot of groups and a lot of history that goes on between these different groups, and there have just been fights back and forth over centuries and centuries. And so it's a lot of history, it's a lot of groups to keep up with, it's a lot of characters to keep up with. So if you're not used to dense political fantasy, it might not be a great place to start. Like, her writing style is very, very good. Like, it's not that her writing style makes it difficult to understand by any means. Like, I love her writing style a lot. But it does it's a very expansive world with a lot of history and a lot of groups and a lot of characters. And so maybe it wouldn't be necessarily the easiest place to start with adult dense political fantasies, but if you do love them, I think this is just a knockout series to check out. It's certainly going to be among my favorite things I read this year, probably new favorite series, or among my new favorite series ever. And we'll see what my reading for the rest of the year entails, but this will most likely be on my favorites list of the year for sure. So gush over, but I just had to document just finishing Empire of Gold and just how much I loved it. And I ended up, as I said, I think last week, using an Audible credit to get it because I ran out of time on hold with my library, or on the copy that I had from my library through Libby. And I'm going to get all of the audiobooks for these eventually. I think when I reread it, I'll have to figure out how I want to reread it. Maybe I'll reread it physically, but I know in the future I'm going to want to read some of these audiobooks, so I'm not at all mad about having an Audible copy of this book. So I'm excited. I loved it so much. Hope this was fun, and thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'll leave, of course, all the stuff that I normally linked below are down there, so be sure to check out the description for Black Lives Matter information, for my Twitter, my Instagram, all that good stuff, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Be sure to subscribe for more bookish content as well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.